Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into the ultimate pregnancy guessing game. You know, trying to figure out if it's a boy or a girl. We're going to explore the surprising, and honestly sometimes downright bizarre, science behind predicting your baby's sex. So, let's just jump right into it. If you've ever been pregnant, or even just known someone who is, you know exactly how this goes. Absolutely everyone, literally from your mom to the cashier at the grocery store, has a guess about what you're having. And it's usually based entirely on how you look or how you feel. But are any of these old wives' tales actually true? Well, today we are going to look at the actual medical data to separate the fun fiction from the fascinating facts. Let's kick things off with probably the most famous one of all. We've all heard the myth, right? If you're carrying low, it's a girl, and if you're carrying high, looking like you swallowed a basketball, it's a boy. But medically speaking, there's absolutely zero evidence of a difference between a so-called girl bump and a boy bump. It turns out your bump shape is all about your own muscle tone and body type. It's got nothing to do with the baby's sex. Honestly, it's pretty incredible how many of these myths we just treat as absolute fact. So let's rapidly bust a few of the big ones. The whole ring on a string test? Yeah, that's just gravity and the tiny micro movements of your hand. How about the length of the linea nigra on your belly? Or darkening nipple color? Those are just standard run-of-the-mill hormonal changes. And what about blaming your baby's sex for things like sweet versus salty cravings, intense mood swings, cold feet, or heartburn? Completely unfounded. In fact, research shows heartburn might actually just mean your baby's gonna be born with a full head of hair. And tracking your pee color or using the Chinese birth calendar? Hey, they're fun to do, but they literally just have a 50-50 shot of being right. Okay, so before we get into the actual scientifically backed clues, we really need to set some expectations here. As Dr. Tarun Jain from Northwestern Fertility points out, the studies we're about to discuss are generally small, they show associations, not true cause and effect. And he makes sure to note that the associations demonstrated are relatively small. So keep in mind as we go through this, these are hints, they are not 100% guarantees. All right, let's dive into section 1. Team Pink, scientific clues for girls. Our first real scientific clue is hyperemesis gravidarum. That's the medical term for severe nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, the kind Kate Middleton famously experienced. And the data actually shows that women pregnant with girls are more likely to experience this intense morning sickness. Why? Well, it's because female fetuses produce more of the pregnancy hormone HCG, and that hormone is a major driver of all that nausea. But wait, that is definitely not the only clue. Get a load of these other fascinating links. Research suggests moms carrying girls consistently underperform in memory tests. So if you've got a bad case of pregnancy brain, that might actually be a scientific sign of a daughter. Also, studies have found that high maternal stress and cortisol levels right around conception lean towards girls. The thought there is that female fetuses are a bit tougher, they're less vulnerable to unfavorable conditions in the womb. We also see links to second and third trimester breakouts. And get this, even conceiving in tropical climates near the equator leans towards having a girl. Science shows small but definitely statistically significant links between all these traits and Team Pink. And then there's a very specific number you might want to watch out for, 32. If you hit 32 weeks pregnant and your baby is still stubbornly bottomed down in a breech position, studies out of Hungary suggest you might really want to think pink. It turns out breech babies at this specific stage are significantly more likely to be girls. Moving right along to section 2, Team Blue, scientific clues for boys. Interestingly enough, the data shows that your diet plays a role before you even take a pregnancy test. Moms who ate a high-calorie diet right around the time of conception were slightly more likely to have boys. We're talking 56% compared to 45% for those on the lowest calorie diets. If you think about it evolutionarily, male fetuses just require more resources to survive, so it makes total sense that a higher calorie intake might favor a boy. And that intense demand for resources, it continues straight into the pregnancy itself. If you have a noticeably bigger appetite, that might just be a clue. Moms expecting boys eat about 10% more calories during pregnancy. The running theory here is that the testosterone secreted by a male fetus literally signals your body to eat more food, which totally explains why baby boys tend to be slightly bigger at birth. We also see 2 more serious medical clues when it comes to boys. First up, extreme food aversions. Researchers actually believe this intense disgust is an immune system response, basically designed to protect the especially vulnerable male fetus from sketchy substances. Second, moms carrying boys actually face a higher maternal risk of developing gestational diabetes. A boy fetus just seems to trigger greater metabolic changes in your body than a girl does. There's also a pretty big clue hiding right there in your sleep. If you are suddenly snoring like a freight train, you might be carrying a son. Seriously, moms pregnant with boys are 1.5 times more likely to develop sleep-disordered breathing. The science points to lower levels of the pregnancy hormone PAPA, which is associated with male fetuses and directly linked to these annoying sleep issues. Here's a really surprising demographic clue involving the number 20. If you are currently on your 3rd pregnancy, researchers found that you are actually 20% more likely to have a boy than you were with your very first baby. Now, the exact biological reason for this is still a bit of a medical mystery, but the data is absolutely there.
Which brings us to section 3, debunking the heartbeat myth.
Okay, you have almost certainly had a well-meaning friend or maybe even a nurse swear by this rule. A slower heartbeat, under 140 beats per minute, means a boy, and a faster one, over 140, means a girl. I mean, it sounds super clinical, right? It sounds incredibly scientific. But guys, extensive medical research completely and utterly debunks this. There is just no truth to it whatsoever. In reality, a massive review done in 2023 found that the baseline heart rates for boys are only infinitesimally higher than girls. It's a difference so small, it's completely meaningless in practice. And why is that? Because a healthy baby's heart rate is constantly fluctuating between 120 and 160 beats per minute anyway. If you measure it at random intervals, you are going to get a completely different reading every single time, totally regardless of the baby's sex. Ironically enough, the absolute only time scientists found a real, measurable difference in heart rates between the sexes is during labor itself. Yep, when it is actually time to deliver, female babies consistently have faster heart rates than males. And the craziest part? Scientists today are still totally baffled as to why that happened. All right, let's wrap this up with section 4, foolproof ways to know. While analyzing your appetite and tracking your sleep habits is a really fun game, keep in mind that symptoms like acne, nausea, and mood swings are just normal parts of pregnancy, no matter who is in there. The absolute only foolproof ways to know for sure are these 3 steps. Number 1, genetic testing, like the NIPT blood test you can do early on. Number 2, a mid-pregnancy anatomy ultrasound where the tech can actually visually confirm it. Or number 3, simply waiting for the big reveal right there in the delivery room.
So as you look at your own pregnancy symptoms, or maybe think about a friend who's currently expecting, which of these subtle scientific clues are you checking off? Are the extra calories pointing to a boy, or is that terrible morning sickness hinting at a girl? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. As medical technology continues to advance, do you think these subtle biological clues will eventually allow us to ditch the ultrasound altogether? Or will we always want to hold on to a little bit of that guessing game magic? Keep questioning the science behind the superstitions.